Oh, a start for the final sidecar race of the weekend, and Pete the Pirate comes off second row and gets a hole shot there. But it's all changed going to... Has it all changed? Has it all changed? Yes, he's slipped down back to third place, but certainly a good drive off the line there. Colin Buckley wasn't in a hurry to get off the line, conserving his clutch and all that thing. I mentioned in the last race that they'd put a new tyre on, and it was a Hardy Compound tyre. I then talked to Robbie Short of the passenger, despite them setting a 3.8, a 103.813 new lap record over and above yesterday's 105.311. He said, no, we didn't elect to run that tyre. We've got other rubber. We might as well wear out that. There's no point. We're leading the championship. We're fast enough as it is, but I'm not even sure what the tyre selection is for Colin Buckley. Whether they put that new tyre on. I did notice coming out of the Castrol corner a huge bit of snaking there for Colin. So maybe this tyre is the new one and it is not scrubbed in at this stage. But not too many sidecars out there, unfortunately. We've had a couple of DNS since last weekend. We had one of the bikes out there last weekend, and who is it? I was just going to go over the sidecar. I think it was Harris. Mr. Harris unfortunately blew a motor last weekend, and this weekend we've seen the sidelining, unfortunately, the unfortunate crash of the number 93 machine, Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryan. They're crashing in the qualifying there in the Castrol corner, and both of them ended up with shoulder injuries. Aaron has got a broken collarbone and a couple of broken ribs, 2 or 3 broken ribs, and Tracy has popped out an AC joint, and one of those ugly crashes you don't want to see. I mean, ended up Aaron was stuck under the machine and got his feet still in it, but he was flying out the side, and Tracy's come along with a sore shoulder and trying to hold the bike up while the marshals came along and attended to it. Colin Buckley there. This is, I think, changed. It was going to be, it's listed as a 15 lap race, but I think the sidecars have elected to just run 10 laps. We'll probably spread out a bit. We do see a bit of battling going on between Alex McDonald on the number 14 machine, with Adrian Gorse doing the swinging. Adrian and Alex from Christchurch, and also Pete the Pirate and Matt Gibbs. Matt lives somewhere in the South Island. He moves from time to time, but the school teacher, wouldn't be cool to have a school teacher like this. Matt Gibbs there doing the swinging for Pete the Pirate. Pete, a prison officer from Auckland. You'll see them disappearing into the big sweeper here at Invercargill. The grey bike, the 111 bike, MC2XS, motorcycle mechanics from Whakatane. And Alex McDonald, he closes right, runs right round the outside. He's trying, but what he does there is makes the track longer. So he tucks in behind Pete the Pirate coming into the Castrol corner. Just a 10-lap race here, and Colin Buckley's already run a 104.788, so that's quicker than his lap record he set yesterday, and marginally off what he's set this morning. So don't know whether I haven't talked to Colin today, except for this morning, before he left the motel, and whether he's out trying to get a better lap record. But this machine has actually set lap records at every track it's been to in New Zealand. Tim Reeves, 6 times world champion, came out for the Suzuki Series and went to Hampton Downs with a passenger, Mark Wilkes, on there, and shaved a massive 3.5 seconds off the lap record, and then went to Manfield, and it was nearly 4 seconds they shaved off that one. Didn't quite have it all their own way at qualifying at Whanganui, where Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryan got pole position there, but Tim Reeves peeled a bit off the lap record. What he also did was dragged both second and third place, Aaron Lovell, Tracy Bryan and Adam Unsworth and Stu Dorr, under the old lap record, which was pretty critical because there was only 2 lap records set at Whanganui this year, one in the classic class by 125 Peter Tanner. The rest of the lap times are way off, so he's dragged the whole level of sidecar racing up a little bit. Tim Reeves coming to New Zealand, and they went to Ruapuna last weekend. Robbie Shorter doing the swinging for Colin Buckley, set another lap record, and of course they've come here and set and bettered it more than once over the weekend. So we saw a 103.813 was the lap record. The last lap time for Colin Buckley was 104.363. We'll see him reel off a few laps, then he'll button off at the end because he knows he's got a bit of a buffer. But is he going quicker on this Kawasaki ZX14? No, in fact he's buttoned off a little bit into the 106.097. There's Spike Taylor, 7 times New Zealand champion, at least 3 times New Zealand champion. I think he won in the in 2002 from memory, and then he's done it a couple of times since, and really enjoys his sidecar racing. He retired from the sport, then ended up helping out someone else there and work on their bike, and then one day they offered him a ride, and that was just all it took to get that addiction back in there. Back in the third place, and it is still Pete the Pirate, number 111. but very close in behind him is Alex McDonald. Now, Alex McDonald, I think, is 72 or 73 years old. He's been a shearer most of his life and as strong as an ox. And at Taupo last year at the New Zealand Superbike Championship, he led the race for the majority of the race and was only pipped at the end. And imagine that, a 72-year-old winning a race there. There he goes through the Macaulay Ford corner. You see that thing snaking side by side, sideways all over the place. They're on the limit of tyre traction, and he goes round the outside on that left-hander, round the outside of Pete the Pirate there, and then tucks in for the next right-hander before they get to the hairpin, and he's already opened up a gap as they come out of the hairpin towards the dog leg onto the front straight of maybe 6 or 8 bike lengths. So excellent racing there somewhere along the line for those boys. Warwick Dimmicks and Will Climo out there as well on the number 49 bike from Christchurch doing those guys are just having fun. They're not the fastest on the track, but I tell you what, they're one of the keenest. They went to the Barry Sheen meeting up in Hampton Downs there on Labour weekend, and a big trip from Christchurch for the South Islands, a Christchurch-based team, and also went up to do the cemetery circuit as well. And they get more sidecar racing, I think, than anyone else in New Zealand because of the King of Canterbury and the King of Levels there, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, great to see, and just the commitment of these boys now in sidecars, the level that we've got, and I think the underlying story of all of that you may not have got from Spider, or hopefully you've got the gist of it, is the quality of what we're seeing. Yes, we've got less competitors, but we've got more quality. A World Championship sidecar unit, that's the thing. Carl Cox Motorsport have bought this unit to now be domiciled here in New Zealand, and to have somebody of the excellence of Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter on board. That's why these guys continue to break these lap records. But Tim Reeves, 6 times world champion. Never before have we had a world champion motorcyclist in New Zealand before. There's been some that have ridden here that have become world champions, but in fact after they've been a world champion, to have them riding here in New Zealand, an absolute honour. So great to see. And that was just a pure sensation. 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds, and 3 seconds. You've got 2 seconds. So these are the times that these guys have been peeling off lap records. And the point about Wanganui is that not just first the Englishman Tim Reeves breaking the lap record, but also our other Kiwi pairings breaking the previous lap records as well, of which they were part of. So it's just fantastic, the calibre of the machinery now. And take a look pit side, take more of an interest in these sidecars. Yes, they are a motorcycle. They've got a generally 1000cc engine on board with them, and they are super spectacular. And the great words that Spider's also been referring to is, of course, again, Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter going back to the Isle of Man. So we're going to have more Kiwis on board at the Isle of Man. What a great year it was this year, of course, or last year as it is now, this season, with Bruce Anstey taking a win in the big race at the Isle of Man. So a Kiwi pilot doing the winning. He's done it there before, but this was the big class, our superbike. So loving every bit of our Isle of Man commitment. And so many Kiwis, even as fact as a spectator, Tony Reeves did his first Isle of Man. He's actually not ruling out the fact that he might not ride one day at the Isle of Man, but he's hoping to be a spectator again there this year. So bring it on, the Isle of Man. We've had a huge recognition there over the years, whether it be talking about our heroes of the past, but I'll tell you what, still an opportunity for riders of tomorrow that will still be competing there in days to come. So love it, the Isle of Man, a true heritage of world-class motorcycling, close to our heritage of where we've had so many compete over the years. So bring it on with the Kiwis at the Isle of Man as we get back to the sidecar racing. Spider Stables, Colin Buckley, Spike Taylor with Alex McDonald, Pete the Pirate and Warwick Dimmick, although only 5 in the field, certainly still of good calibre. Yeah, just looking at my wristwatch here, it's 2:04. Those that can get near a TV, don't forget the cemetery circuit is on, so set your recorder. The cemetery circuit is on. I think it might be TV2 or TV3. So the cemetery circuit, CRC Motorsport. So, and if you missed it now, don't worry about it. Just go back and put it on TV2 +1. But looks like we may have a retirement for Pete the Pirate. I saw him cruising through the Macaulay Ford corner there, and a retirement for Pete the Pirate. So in fact, yes, they've gone off into the grass, so that's a little bit of a shame for that team to be sidelined. They've had good solid standings in the points all the way through the season, and that is the first issue of reliability we've seen out of Pete the Pirate, and that's pretty good for a man who had many breakdowns over the years, but he got a good team around him this year and prepared the bikes a bit better, and supporting him. It was a really good, but never mind, at least they're off the track and no problems out there. So out in the front, it still is Colin Buckley on lap 8. Slowed into the 108s, but
His quickest lap time was a 1:04.363 on the Carl Cox Motorsport sponsored machine. A big shout out to his partner Joe, who no doubt will be watching in Auckland. She come down to the racing last season, can't quite get the time off work and can't quite afford to do it, but that is the beauty of the coverage from Ctas live timing. So Joe, I hope you're enjoying yourself watching it. I hope you're not biting your fingernails, and maybe I hope you've got a martini or whatever you're sort of sipping on while you're enjoying watching it. The white flag's out. It is the final lap of the race, and we're slowed in the 107s. We're seeing Spike Taylor close in there, 4.8 second gap, a 4.8 second gap. Colin's got the brake on the field. He did this yesterday, and slowing down. All he needs to do is just ride round. It's the old story. A lot of people just, the best thing to do sometimes with racing is win the race in the slowest possible time, just to conserve the gear and all that. The byproduct of this is the concentration. It is very, very easy to concentrate when you're actually out there winning and leading a race and going as hard as you can. But once you back off, especially with a team of two people, once you back off, you lose that concentration. It doesn't take much, and that's the time that it's most critical, and the errors can happen. So over to Neil Ritchie.
Thank you, Spidey. Just to let you know, folks, those of you with the program, you'll be looking at sidecars were down as having a 10-lapper here at the end of the day. But they've decided, a 15-lapper, they've done a 10-lapper earlier, they've decided to make this a 10-lapper, so they're the only class to have a lap number change in going as a 10-lapper. So I think when you look at it, another 5 laps would not change the overall result, and all it does is, in fact, increase the tyre wear for these guys. Oh, is he back out? Has he got it going? Is it maybe it needed a jump start, maybe a flat battery, Spider? What do you think?
I have no idea, but he pulled way off to the track into the grass, which is the right thing to do, but he's back out circulating, so don't know what happened. Last weekend we saw him slow up, and when his passenger tapped him on the shoulder, and his passenger's level, it's undone. So hopefully we can catch up with the gossip in the pits and find out. Certainly we'll bring you the information at Timaru next week. And don't forget, full weekend of road cycle racing at Timaru. Get there if you can, get there if you can. You can always watch it later on Ctas live timing. They've changed their profile on Ctas. It used to cost you money to do it, and it was